cranky ones when you used to reach in and get an egg.
Yeah.
You don't have any now?
No.
Did you abandon them when you left for mom?
No.
Never mind. She said changing the subject.
We didn't eat our laying hens. We never ate our laying hens ever.
Take a break.
No, I didn't.
We ate the meat birds, but I never ate my
Take a
laying
break.
hens.
Well, I didn't want to take your coffee outside and get it cold.
Well,
But our grandchildren, you know, they'd go out to get the eggs, and we'd always have one really cranky hen, you know, and they'd go in and get the eggs. I'm not gonna get the ones when they're cranky.
I remember being terrified of them as a child.
Take an old hen as a set and just go mess with their eggs.
The setting ones, yeah.
They're in the house.
Nope.
And I can see my gut in on the front.
Now you please make music.
It could get down? Oh.
It's suddenly become a percussion instrument.
Yeah.
Did you get an arrow? Yeah.
I have a good rooster story. I have a good rooster story. Well, I had this rooster, and Phil was away. He used to build houses, but he went away during the week and built houses, and he'd come home on the weekend. So I had a couple of roosters, but I had this one rooster who was really nasty. And so I had to kill him. But I didn't know how to kill him. So I looked in my chicken book, and it said to put the rooster in a sack and swing him around and put him in the sack and whack the sack on a tree. That's how you kill a rooster. So I was all alone, so I put this rooster in a sack and I whacked him on the tree and I killed him. So I was so mortified, I was so disgusted about what I did. So I had the rooster and I killed him, and I just threw the sack on top of the car and I ran in the house. And I was like, yes, okay, I killed him. So I came out and there's a sack hopping out of the driveway. I'm like, oh my God!
Don't make me do that again.
I'm gonna do it again.
Oh my God.
So I had to do it again, but I was...
You did it again?
I did.
Oh.
Well, this rooster, every time I went out to the hen house, it came at me with its, you know, slot heels.
Yeah.
You know? Even with my rubber boots on, it came up and above my boots. And Phil was away, and I can't go in the hen house without getting attacked by this rooster, so I had to fling the sack at the tree again.
Oh, God.
I couldn't believe it when it's hopping down the driveway with the sack.
So you never killed any of your chicken?
See, I firmly believe
Well,
that
we had
cartoonists
meat
who work
birds,
for
but we
Looney
didn't.
Tunes
Yeah,
never made
we
a
killed
thing
our
up in
meat
their
birds ourselves.
lives. They just observed humanity.
Yeah.
And they might
Well, I had my
exaggerate a
chores
picture or
on
something,
meat
but
free birthday.
that just fits right in the Looney Tunes.
We'll see next week. You laid down already? Are you all right? Pretty good, you?
Good to see y'all again. No one. You should bring that little big blue.
We had a rooster named Margaret.
A rooster named Margaret?
Well,
that might be a problem.
Mamie read a book that said you never name anything you're planning to eat. And I had a habit of dispatching the hens that weren't producing by the time they got their third moult. They got invited to the stew. And so the instant we had hatchlings, the kids would name a turtle. And Margaret was sort of an odd child.
Can you please?
Yes.
Tim.
Yes. Well, and eventually it became obvious even to my wife that Margaret was a rooster. So before
We had to be loud.
I could solve the whole problem, they found a home for Margaret. But they made this person promise they wouldn't change the name. So some lady at school, and then they was talking about, how's Margaret? You know, talking about confusion. Raised in a hen house, calls Margaret. But Margaret was the only rooster that survived.
My brother says,
And we had partners. We did an auction, back cat. put the calf out, the horse
It was
goes
mud turtle.
because their manure hits the ground
So,
as fertilizer.
she said, well,
And they'll
pick
also
you a
break
stick,
up the horse
and
poop,
make
which
it
takes
mad.
about a year to
Let
turn
it,
into fertilizer.
let it bite that stick.
So once again, they decided to fix me,
That stick.
and
So
every
then
one of those
cut the
kids
tail.
came home, got a
We
lead,
did.
and there
Well, that
was
turtle,
prime,
the head,
sirloin,
Killed
TJ,
over
which was
that
tender and
stick.
juicy.
had a good
So
time.
everyone was named for a different cut of beef. And they all tasted good.
That afternoon, we had a little fast dog. We heard him barking down there. So, me and my brother went down there to see what it had tree. Well, he had that turtle head tree. And just about the time we got to it, that dog made a dive for that head. And the head turned loose with that stick and grabbed the little thing right there.
Good.
Oh, that's
He had to take her pocket knife and slit that turtle's jaws. We
A little mud turtle. Little mud turtle.
Yeah.
Yeah. They call it
That's the same as a snapper lady
It's
around here.
a reflex.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
not,
my
they can't even
goodness.
control that snapping. I was
The
told.
snake, the snake could do that.
Yeah, I know. I know. I killed a copperhead in the garden this summer, and it did that.
Come down.
It kept coming after me after I cut it off.
What?
I think I'll
Just
stay
play it
in
here.
You wasn't even at the bar. You wasn't
I would have to get off the alligators.
So how are those wolves in Alaska?
Hunting dirt pythons
They
again.
hold their own, growing,
Well, was it any good? Was it good?
manage.
You did?
They call it.
Snapper soup?
Do they have to keep the
Yeah, I knew you were gonna say that.
Only because they want there to be more moose
Okay.
for hunters to hunt. They want tourists to come and kill the moose as opposed to the wolves who live there killing.
They say they
For us.
Do you hunt moose?
Caribou. 7 or 8 of them.
But it's more profitable for tourists to do
Yeah.
it than the rest.
More secondary money involved.
Yeah.
How long does a moose last, the two of you?
You were there Wednesday night, bro?
Good long time.
Couple of years.
Yeah, I think you just
A lot of stew meat on that?
Everything, whatever you want to make.
Okay, is it all tender enough that you can?
You cook it properly.
Long.
evaluation yesterday, but they released him because there were no beds to put him in. So
Good.
he went home and stabbed his father and shot himself. Craig Deeds is he's a state rep from down near Norfolk.
I'm not sure where he's.
I think down near Norfolk, Newport News, in Beach area.
Yeah, he's living. They did, well, the
Bath County,
didn't kill him,
Sharpsville
so
is
his son
not
stabbed him.
No, they moved him to Sharp. They took him to
He
the
was
son
in-
survived.
Pretty close.
No.
No, the son is
The
dead.
son did not.
Great deeds.
He ran for office.
Yeah.
That one
He's
guy,
in office now, but he ran for governor, I think.
Yeah.
I heard his name anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Open
Did
camp.
moose hunt near your place? In Alaska?
Yeah.
He got a caribou this year, so it's
Really?
really good eating. So between caribou, salmon, ducks.
Oh,
and
you
stuff
get
like
salmon
that.
up there too?
Oh,